but a lot of people also voted against him because he was going to be the first black president.
Perhaps,
I don't know.
That. He won a huge portion of the American election, a clear majority.
I'm pretty sure he won a majority of the electorate, but what were the racial breakdowns?
What? Everybody voted for Barack. What are you talking about?
The only reason anybody
7 years after 9/11, and we're talking about Hussein.
I think the only reason people voted for Obama is because he was an impressive speaker and because they could say they voted for the first black president. I don't think he had any accomplishments other than that.
Any accomplishments at all? You mean prior to becoming president?
Yeah.
I think that he was a fresh new face.
What did he do? He didn't accomplish anything before he was president.
He was a senator from Illinois.
What did he do?
He was one of the youngest senators from Illinois. Let's be honest. Okay. I don't like these type of... Okay. If you guys know me, my name is LFR Jojo. I like Barack. I do. I like Barack Obama. So this one might hurt a little for me, but I'm going to be as objective as possible. Michael Knowles is debating a BLM activist on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and he's talking about Barack Obama now, saying that the only reason people voted for him was because he was the first black president. And here's what I'll say, an objective thought. Barack Obama wasn't objectively that accomplished prior to running for president, which if you guys know, president is the top of the mountain. So before then, he was a really young senator. He didn't do much relative to being the president. I'm not saying he wasn't accomplished in general, but being a president, he wasn't really doing too much before then. So Michael Knowles is actually making sense right now. But let's continue. This might hurt a little bit for me, but let's go.
Accomplished as a state senator from Illinois.
I'm not sure.
Well, as a U.S. senator, and before that,
I'm not sure I know he was very outspoken against the Iraq War. I don't know what he introduced in the Senate in 2006.
Nothing. The answer is nothing. Yeah.
I'm going to take you at your face value and just say, okay, he didn't. Even then, I don't think that Barack Hussein Obama is the thing that would give him the electoral advantage. I think people voted for him, in part because he was a black president, or he would be a first black president, but a lot of people also voted against him because he was going to be the first black president.
Perhaps, I don't know. He won a huge portion of the American election, a clear majority.
I'm pretty sure he won a majority of the electorate, but what were the racial breakdowns?
What? Everybody voted for Barack. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You do realize America is 60% white, and that's today. I'm not talking about 20 years ago. I'm talking about today. America is 60% white. It was probably a little higher back then. Are you really trying to sit here and say, although Barack Obama was the overwhelming winner in both elections, people still somehow didn't vote for him because he was black? What? Objectively, you're just wrong. I don't even understand where that statement is coming from. Barack Obama was the he cleared the boards, bro. Not gonna hold you.
He won a ton of them.
I'm pretty sure 56 to 60% of white people voted against.
In 08 or 12?
Huh?
In the first run or the second run?
I know he lost the white vote by not a big margin, by like a pretty substantial margin.
In the real because he was a terrorist.
No, both times. Yep. White people weren't like swooned over by Obama, and then in 2012 they were like, "Oh, this guy's trash." They thought he was trash the entire time.
White people also tend to vote for Republicans.
Yeah,
they're much more likely to vote for Republicans than Democrats.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking even white Democrats. Like a lot of them, it wasn't. It's not like Obama. I'm pretty sure Obama won a majority of the white Democratic vote. But if you're talking about the entire nation as a whole,
I agree that white Democrats are racist. I agree. I certainly agree with that.
But we're gonna agree that everybody racist now.
I
agree that some white Democrats are racist. I agree that the vast majority of white Republicans are racist, though.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You think America's a racist country?
It's really hard to say no. And the reason why is because how racism has been baked into so many of our institutions. I think there's a difference between saying, I feel like when people say, is America a racist country? They're trying to add the moral pejorative that it's like, well, he thinks everyone is.
No, I'm just saying all America's a racist country.
I think the way in which America has been founded and operated, I think so.
Today, it's a racist country.
Oh, yeah.
How many
of those vestiges.
How many black people have immigrated to the U.S. over the last 20 years?
I'm not sure.
About 3 million. 2 million from Africa and 1 million from the Caribbean.
Why would they come to America if America was so racist?
It's a great question.
That is a real great question. Why do you think a lot of Muslim people and a lot of people...
Okay, here's what I'll say. The student, or I don't know if he's a student, Joshua Joseph, the BLM activist, self-proclaimed, sounds extremely ignorant when he talks about these things. Extremely ignorant. And I think it's due to privilege. I honestly think it's due to privilege. The privilege that we have to be Native American. like natively here, our ancestors are here, we're Black Americans. We don't have any other tie to any other nation. I think he forgets or he doesn't know what other nations are like. And because of that, when he talks about America being racist or America being unfair, you're looking at this from this perspective of someone who's never left America and had to live in a truly racist or a truly systemically oppressive nation. You've never done that before. And sometimes I think it would better suit you if you looked at some of these nations. Just watch a YouTube video about what it's like to be there. Watch a YouTube video what it's like to be in North Korea. You can't even be it. If you're Black, watch a video what it's like to be in a truly oppressive nation with the caste system. And until you do that, I don't think you'll truly understand how great America is, how fair America is. For example, you're debating Michael Knowles, one of the biggest podcasters on YouTube. You're just sitting here debating him for 2.5 hours straight. You're debating him. You have a platform. You can do whatever you want. Other nations is not that open for us, bro. I'm gonna be honest, it's not. America is great, and it's probably the least racist nation on earth.
From the Middle East still come to America, despite the fact that they were literally profiled and targeted all after a terrorist attack that really had nothing to do with them in particular.
Yeah, I don't remember any anti-Muslim
Why did Asian people come to the United States?
Because they face very fair and equitable treatment. That's why.
Asian Exclusion Act, Chinese Exclusion Act, Asian Bar Zone.
Oh, well, you're talking
Japanese internment camps. What fair and equitable treatment are we talking about?
I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about.
No, I'm saying, but you're saying, why would they come here? They come here now because obviously America's gotten better. No one argues that America hasn't gotten better.
But you know what I'm saying? If it's racist, if America is actually hostile and discriminatory against Black people, why would 3 million come in 20 years?
Well, first of all, if we want to talk about Black people who immigrate here, oftentimes they come here with, I'm not going to say they come here with a preconception about African Americans here, but there's a demographical difference between Black people from Africa who come here or from other countries that come here and from African Americans that are actually already here. So a lot of them will immigrate here from backgrounds of or coming over for college, or maybe they already had a family member from a wealthier background that is sending them over for college. That makes up a lot of especially a lot of work visas will go to Nigerians and Indians because they're working in tech industries and stuff. So it's not like these people are, and because in general, maybe wherever they're coming from, the economic opportunity is probably better in comparison to their country. That doesn't mean that they did a holistic review of the race relations of the United States and determined this country isn't racist anymore. I'm gonna take my chance over there. It's
presumably
better.
They thought about it before they immigrated.
I don't think that it's a.
You don't think they thought, is it a good idea to move across the world to this evil racist country, or you don't think that passed through their mind?
Because I think that a country can have done evil racist things in the past, and you. But
you're saying today it's still racist.
I think it's still racist. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but I don't think that that's a determining factor in the. So you're saying that if I go there, there's an increased likelihood that I'll face discrimination. Cool. But if I go there, I could also get a job that's going to make me way more money than over here, even if I'm poor.
Like you're not being discriminated against at all. And in fact, we know that it's you're much more likely to get a job today for a big company if you are identifying as a person of color rather than as a white person.
When?
Yeah.
So one of my favorite studies in sociology is when they'll do application studies, and they'll change up things like maybe they'll provide a picture or they'll do names, right? Mm-hmm. Since 1985, there has not been any change in the likelihood of getting a callback for a job when you are Black. And
according to these sociological studies.
According to scientific consensus in sociology.
Okay. Let me raise another prospect to you. There was a study, just came out, an analysis by Bloomberg of 88 companies in the S&P 100. Mm-hmm. And it was over hiring practices over the last few years, because the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, requires that big companies with more than 100 employees publish their workforce demographics. And over the last couple of years, 94% of people who have been hired for a job for any of those companies have been persons of color, which is pretty crazy because the country is 60% white, which means the only way they could have arrived at that number is by actively discriminating against white applicants and giving an advantage to persons of color.
I'm going to assume that I can't even assume that your numbers.
Bro, I'm not trying to hear nothing he's saying, bro. I'm not trying to hear nothing he's saying because I've been through hiring practices and the college pipelines, and minorities literally have scholarships just for them. There are no scholarships just for white people. I don't care where you look. There's none. But there are scholarships just for minorities. And if I'm lying, I'm flying. But y'all, I promise there are. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the student says there are hiring practices that are anti-black. And I'm sure there are biases at some companies. Of course. It's the world, bro. Some companies are biased. I know they are. And I know they're biased against different sets of races. Probably not just black, or I know it's biased. But when it comes to privilege, black people do have privilege in some of these companies and institutions. When it comes to scholarships and a lot of opportunities, you can only apply if you're a minority. And not just a black minority. It's just if you're a minority in said instance. That's 100% the case. But in reality, bro, when it comes to getting jobs or, getting the career you want, your number one goal should be the best, period. It shouldn't be you want to be the best black person or you want to be the best man or best woman. You should want to be the best. And when you focus on that, these type of discussions don't even cross your mind on if I'm not getting selected because I'm black. If you're great enough, if you're talented enough, your work will speak for it. No one looks at my channel and says, oh, I love what he says, but because he's black, I'm not going to subscribe to him. I'm sure someone has said that before, but I have 370,000 subscribers. Because it's not about your race. It's not about who you are or what you look like. It's about what you say, what you do, how you present yourself, how you carry yourself. And in any field, if you're the best, you're the best. Talent is undeniable, and America gives us that privilege. In some countries, that's not the case. But here, it is. And if you're a student, your goal shouldn't be to use identity politics to confirm why you did or didn't get a job. If a company is racist, you don't want to work for them anyways. You want to go after something that is for you and that you've earned and deserved.
They're 100% correct.
They totally are.
Are they?
You can Google it.
You're going to trust me that I'm going to look it up and it's going to say the 94% of people hired for a job at these few corporations.
Not few. It's 88 of the top of the S&P 100. They're talking about the biggest companies in America.
We're saying that the workforce, 94%
of the new hires. Yeah.
94% of the new hires. How many new hires? So, because you do understand that you could have a high proportion of new hires be hired as minorities, and the overall makeup of the company can still be white,
sure, but we're
predominantly white.
We're talking about the policies in place today. So we're talking about policies 50 years ago.
88 of the top 100 companies are attempting to increase their diversity by hiring higher rates of minorities, and that means that the racism's gone?
No, it means that there is new racism against white applicants. If only 6%.
That means that there's. Why would they need to? Why would they need to hire?
Because we have de facto and de jure racial discrimination in employment against white people, and to a lesser degree against.
There's de facto racism. Do you know what de facto racism means? Or de facto discrimination?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
So de jure racism would be as a matter of explicit law, and de facto would be as a matter of implicit practice. And in the case of affirmative action policies, it's actually both.
Well, actually, no. Well, de facto would be. So the way I like to think about it is when we look at public schools today, there's still a lot of de facto segregation left over from the Jim Crow era because there was no serious
and because students
effort.
Self-segregate.
Yeah, well, because they were put in a condition in which they were already mostly segregated. So you can't.
Even in mixed schools, I'm saying there have been a lot of studies on this, and it's very odd because a lot of people don't like there to be self-segregation, but it happens.
Yeah, it'll happen because of different cultural backgrounds and everything. Yeah. But that is compounded with the fact that there was never a real ability to fully desegregate public schools.
And federal busing with the National Guard.
What? Yeah, and they struck that down. And it's funny because Joe Biden, back at it again, he was opposed to the forced busing and everything, along with a lot of white America at the time. And in 2007, Chief Justice Roberts, they had the Supreme Court decision where they decided that attempts to desegregate public schools by assigning kids to schools based on racial background to try to create a more even mixture was unconstitutional. Right. So even when we were trying it gets struck down and it gets struck down. So you still have not a properly addressed situation, which is if you're spending all your life around people around the same skin color of you, then when you get in the area, even though there are more people of different skin colors, you're probably going to be more comfortable with these people around you. And that's due to circumstances that was not necessarily created.
I'm not disputing the fact that there are people.
When I was talking about de facto segregation, and the reason why is because it's vestiges that are left over from policies that used to be in place and not a serious act to correct them. So how in the world is hiring majority minorities in recent years at corporations
94%?
How is it
virtually
de facto segregation when the whole reason why they're
Well, I'm
doing
not
that
saying
is
it's
because of the
segregation, I'm
policy.
saying it's racial
Or
discrimination.
how is that de facto discrimination based off of the when
unless
the vast majority of the people at the corporation will A, still be white, and B, the whole reason why they're doing that is to correct for the fact that
you might say it's good discrimination, which I suppose is what you are saying, but it just is. It nevertheless.
I wouldn't say it is good or bad discrimination, because I don't. Again, assuming that the new hires are really 94% minority applicants, I think that you could say that it's a discrimination in a sense because they're attempting to correct.
You're saying it's a good thing because it's correcting a wrong.
Discrimination, but again,
I'm just telling you, it undermines the argument that you're making, which is that America today is racist against black.
But you do understand that
So this conversation is getting crazy. Let me know who you guys think is the better debater so far.
Understand that because first let me say, you do understand that even if you did hire at a 60% clip for white people, because that's proportionate, right? You do
I'm not
understand
saying,
that
I don't think you need
no,
to
but you said it was crazy because look, I mean, if you can take
perhaps white people stop being able to do any job.
Is 60% minority an issue, or is it just because it's 94? When's the threshold?
I don't think that we should have racial quotas for hiring.
It's
also
quota?
illegal.
It's not the same. That is illegal. So it's not a quota. You can do a compelling state interest to have diversity, but there's not saying you need to have X amount of black people, X amount of white people, X amount of that's not.
So as a matter of de jure policy, we have affirmative action, which is a kind of racial discrimination against white people and to a lesser degree Asians. And as a matter of de facto hiring policy, we have clear racial discrimination because of the 94%.
Affirmative action?
So this debate is pretty long. This is a really long debate. I'm going to end it here. But let me know if you guys want a part 2 about the affirmative action discussion. My name is Jojo.